Hello and welcome to What the Fuck Am I Reading? So since we last spoke, I finished a total of 7 books. 7 books. It's been 2 weeks if I remember correctly. I don't think last week I did one. But I have to be honest, most of these books I won't be talking about. And some of them I have already recorded like full reviews for. So it's just like more in the spirit of have you like updated. But let's just get started. So the first book that I finished was Dusk Mountain Blues, which was one of my SPFFC semi-finalists that I had to read this month. I will talk about this one more on my like dedicated video to SPFFC semi-finalist, sorry. But I will say I didn't love it. Like, I felt like it was okay, but it just didn't grab my attention. I'm a bit meh about it, but yeah. I'll talk about this one more later. So the next book that I finished was Sand Death's Daughter, which I have already recorded like a full review about it, but just overall, this book is great and awful at the same time. Like the writing style makes it so difficult to read, but at the same time, the world feels like so filled with stuff, which is cool and awful at the same time. Like it's a very polarizing book. A lot of people are going to love and swear about this, but the other ones are going to just completely hate it. Like, there's not going to be an in-between. Like, it's so polarizing. I can already tell. Like, it's coming out this week or has already come out by the time you're watching this. But damn, it's weird. You're basically going to follow Lena, who's part of the Stones family. They are a group of assassins, basically. But she was actually born with the gift of necromancy. And she's actually repulsed by death. It's just so cool. But basically, she's about to be kicked out of their house. There's also some assassination going on. The plot is all over the place. All over the place. This one, like, it's so weird. But as I've told you, at the same time, it feels like so cool and so rich. It is so difficult. It is so fucking difficult to understand this book. Like, there's so much going on. I ended up giving it like 3.75 because so many things I hate, so many things I love. It's just weird. It's just very weird, but yeah, I will link my review up here and you can check that out. Then I read a good one. This is Stolen Tongs. Oh man, I loved it. Thank you for the recommendation. This is a horror, kind of paranormal type of fantasy book. Loved it. It's actually inspired by Native American folklore and mythology. Super cool, like super cool. But you're basically going to follow this couple that goes into this cabin, spend the night, you know, relax a bit, and then some weird shit starts going on. They hear screams in the woods, they hear different people. The next morning they see steps all over the place. So weird, but it always feels tangible, you know? It's not like something like the fucking Conjuring or such, like nothing feels tangible, but this feels tangible, you know? I hate only ghost stories. Like when it's just a ghost, that's so fucking boring to me. So just, But this one, I do have to say, the prologue was one of the fucking scariest shit I ever read. It was literally like 1 a.m. and we was like, okay, I'll start either this one or Dark Apprentice. And I was very drawn into this one, so I was just like, okay, I'll read this one. Literally read the fucking prologue and had to stop because it was so scary and took place on like an apartment, on a bedroom, and I was just like, okay, I'm losing my fucking shit. I cannot read this. So the next weekend, I grabbed this one and read it on a bench when there was light outside. Basically. I do have to say that as with most of this type of book, once everything is revealed, lost a little bit of its like magic, you know? But still, this was so cool, so creepy. It's not like super scary, but definitely some super creepy elements in here. Like I really liked it overall. It was so good. I ended up giving it 4 stars, but yeah, that prologue, dude, it was so I just don't want to think about it again. Like, I do really want to sleep tonight. Then I read this beast. This is Soulbrand by Andrew Rowe. This is the 3rd book in the Weapons and Wielders spin-off of Arcane Ascension, basically. Hear me out. I knew this was big, okay? Like, it looks big. It is big. But it has 7 fucking 100 pages. And I wasn't ready for that. I was shorter, because this series is supposed to be shorter than the Arcane Ascension books. And I was just like, why would you do this to me? And just to learn that this book and the previous one was supposed to be a single book, in what fucking world? But still, I really like this one. In this series, you're basically going to follow Keras when he first arrived in the world. Is a prequel to Arcane Ascension. You don't have to read Arcane Ascension to read these ones, but it definitely gives you a lot of context. There's also scenes from Arcane Ascension in here, because Keras is telling this story while they are on a trip that is that appears in Arcane Ascension. Dude, this book is now my favorite in this series. Like, so many things happened here. It's basically set on a tournament, and the tournament aspect wasn't that important in here. I feel like it was on a Diamantine, but so many reveals here. The ending, I loved it. Like, I wasn't like huge on this series. Like, I definitely enjoyed it. Some of my favorite characters are here, but still, now I'm super on board. Like, I love this entry. Like, it was just as good as the first one, but the reveals and such just reminded me much more of like sufficiently advanced magic. So, I don't know. I was just so on board with it. I just really liked it in general. But yeah, I cannot recommend the Arcane Ascension and Weapons of Wilders enough. Like, Andrew is so cool. I just really like him, like all his books. Arcane Ascension is my favorite series. But yeah, I'm just super excited. Now I'm both excited for this one and the next Arcane Ascension book. Then again, I read Daras, which is one of the SPFFC books. I listened to the audiobook, and this one I definitely liked more than Dusk Mountain Blues. But I still, there's something about it that I really didn't connect with. How can I explain this? I liked it, but again, I wasn't really like drawn to the story. Like, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. Like, I was very indifferent to it. Like, I was reading it and I was just like, okay, sure. And when it ended, I was like, okay, sure. It even had like a very like sad moment. I just didn't care. But still, I liked it more than the other one. So yeah, I'll talk about this one more on the next video. Then, because I wanted like a breather, I read The Paradox Hotel, which was a very anticipated release for me. I really wanted to read it. It's a sci-fi thriller, which is my favorite genre. I have accepted it. Like, I love fantasy, I love space sci-fi in general, but the niche that is sci-fi mysteries and sci-fi thrillers, it's just the best thing. Like, I always enjoy them so much, even though I don't love them. I just really love reading them. Like, every time that a book like that is coming out, I'm just like, please, I want to read it. Something like this author, for example, like Blake Crouch, like Peter Klein's. That's all I want. Like, it's so cool. But basically, in this one, you're going to follow January. She's the head of security in this hotel, which allows rich people to travel back on time, basically. I just love the fact that it's just like well known. The back in time thing, like, it's usually like, I don't usually love time travel in books, but in this case, it works so well. Of course, there's a lot of jumping around timelines. Like, January suffers from this disease, from being exposed to this flux of time so many years. So she has like snippets of the future sometimes, and sometimes she slips to the past. So you have like these several timelines that once you get all the pieces, they make sense, and that's just super satisfying. I will have to say though, the final ending, it was okay, but I didn't love it. Like, it felt like too cookie cutter for me after everything that went around, but I still quite liked it. I will say more like I accepted it, but I just really like how it developed. Like, I love the story. I read it in 2 sittings. I was so into it. But yeah, please, if you have sci-fi thrillers to recommend, please do. I just love them so much. But yeah, I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Really good. I also gave Soulbrand 4 stars. I think I forgot to say that. But yeah, really liked it overall. But yeah, I just want more sci-fi thrillers, honestly. I'm really waiting for Upgrade right now. So the last book that I read was Dark Apprentice by Vile Neal, which I have also recorded a review for. It's going to be a bit featured with Santet's daughter. But yeah, this is basically about Nikolai and Medea. Medea is a super powerful ancient magi. and every single apprentice she takes in ends up trying to kill her. So for reasons that I will not disclose, she ends up taking Nikolai as her apprentice, but Nikolai is definitely intending to murder her because he wants to be a dark wizard. It's just so cool. This book is so cool. Let me show you. You're now seeing my favorite book of the year for now. I loved it. It's the first book that I've given 5 stars to. Yes, I love this. It's dark fantasy, but it's not tonally dark. Like, it has like some humor and some lightness in there. So you'll be okay if you just don't love grimdark. This one is definitely for you, don't worry. But yeah, I love this. You can check out my full review in here. But it's just so good. In general, that's the only thing that I can say. The relationship between Medea and Nikolai was so cool, dude. So cool. Also, representation here, Medea is actually autistic. You can realize that while reading the book, but there's an author's note that confirms it later. But yeah, I just love this. Highly recommend to check it out. Like, this book for now, sitting up there, it's just so good. So yeah, those were all the books that I read these past 2 weeks. Have you finished any books? Are you currently reading some books? Just let me know down in the comments below. But as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!